you struggling to get your content in front of enough people? You know you have valuable insights to share, but figuring out how to get noticed and grow your audience can feel overwhelming. In today's episode, I'm talking about how to pitch yourself for collaborations that will get your content seen by more of your ideal clients, whether it's guest appearances, summits, or bundles, or small group partnerships like workshops and joint launches. These collaborations can help you build connections, showcase your expertise, and expand your reach. I'm going to break down my biggest 3 no-nos when it comes to collaborating and pitching and show you how to approach collaborations with confidence so you can pitch yourself to gain the opportunities that you really want. Welcome to the Powerful Content Podcast, your go-to source for content creation, strategy, and business inspiration. I'm your host, Mel Daniels, content strategist, coach, and speaker, empowering women across the globe to grow their business with powerful content that connects, nurtures, and converts. So if you're ready to create standout content that gets you noticed and remembered, or build an aligned audience who love you and are ready to buy from you, you're in the right place. I believe that content has the power to connect us all. It's up to you how you use it. Listen in for genuine and insightful chats with guests, as well as practical tools and strategies from me. It's so lovely to have you here. Let's dive into the show. I acknowledge the Wongal people of the Eora Nation as the traditional custodians of the country that I am recording from today. I recognise their continuing connection to the land and waters. I pay my respects to elders past and present and extend that respect to all First Nation people listening today. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to episode 134 of the Powerful Content Podcast. Thank you for allowing me into your ears and brain today. That sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? I guess I'm just trying to say that there's lots of other options out there. So I really appreciate you choosing to listen to the Powerful Content Podcast today. Now, back in my last solo episode, which was episode 132, I spoke about collaborations, why I love them for business and personal growth, and 7 ideas to get you collaborating more quickly. Were you inspired to try one out? I hope so. And if you haven't listened to that episode, then make sure you go back and listen to it after this episode. Now, today I really wanted to extend on the idea of collaborations and tackle how to participate in or approach someone to collaborate with. Most of these ideas that I'm going to give you today are from my own experience as a guest on podcasts, as a podcast host receiving pitches, and from finding the right bundles and summits to participate in. But to start, here are 3 things that you need to avoid when pitching in order to get a resounding yes. Now, the first thing is making it all about you. As much as I love you, I don't care if it's your goal to be on 100 podcasts. I don't care if you've won 1,000 awards, and I definitely don't care if you have a 6-figure business. When you make it about you, it's not a collaboration. It really says to me that you're looking to simply tick a box and gain as much out of it as possible for yourself. All you need to do instead is one simple thing and switch it to make it about your collaboration partner's audience. How are you helping them serve their ideal client? How are you stronger and providing more value together rather than them on their own? Now, the second thing that I want you to avoid is the assumption that you are the right fit. This is kind of like walking into a cafe and expecting your coffee to be ready for you, which may be the case if you're a regular and you always turn up at a certain time. Your coffee may be ready for you, but this is not about confidence. It's about being presumptuous, which, believe you me, is not attractive. Before you launch into all the reasons that you should work together, do your homework. Understand the audience. Make a genuine connection before the ask, and then be prepared that you may get a no or now's not the right time. And the third thing to avoid is being overly generic or using an obvious template. Now, if you can't be bothered to make a pitch personal, I can guarantee that your host or potential collaboration partner is not going to even want to look at your pitch. There is so much preparation, research, editing, and promoting of a podcast in particular that I know if I receive a pitch from someone who has listened to an episode and can find something personal or relevant to mention, then I know they're going to be 100% all in and promote the episode and rate the podcast. So it's a super easy yes for me. Using a template or having an assistant or agency pitch can be a turn-off. Well, at least it is for me. Once again, I feel like it's a spray and pray kind of method that really doesn't align with how I do business or how I run my podcast. Now, content is about human connection, not transactions and numbers. So think like a human when you're pitching. Your approach to pitching a collaboration will depend on the type of collaboration that you're going after, but there's generally 6 steps that I recommend you go through when you're looking for collaborations. That's prepare, research, connect, pitch, acceptance, and post-collaboration. So preparation. Before you even send a pitch or apply to be a speaker or a contributor, there's a few things I'd love you to think about. Not only is it going to help you with the pitch itself, it's going to help you be prepared. First of all is understand your goals. Why are you doing this and what are you hoping to achieve? In episode 132, I spoke about how my objective for the year was to increase my email list. So that's why I was going after the bundles and summits. So I want you to think about, is this in line with your content goals, your marketing goals, or your overall business goals? Appearing on a podcast may be to increase brand awareness, whereas a bundle may be to grow your email list. So what's that grassroots reason that you want to do this? The second thing is work on your thought leadership and really know the value that you bring to a collaboration. It's so much easier for you and your host to be able to talk through a framework or the steps to reach a desired outcome. Think about how you do what you do differently and build a framework around this. Even something as simple as what I'm doing right here in this podcast with the 6 steps to winning these collaborations, it really helps to provide a logical sequence of your thoughts and ideas and makes it so much easier for your collaboration partner to ask you questions and walk you through the process. The next thing is I want you to gather your collateral. Write your bio, have it ready. Have a 100-word version, a 200-word version, and a 500-word version. Have images of you, your speaker profile. I've personally got all of this saved in a specific folder. So I simply send the link to a podcast host or quickly and easily find the bits and pieces I will need for other collaborations. So make it super easy for yourself to jump on an opportunity as soon as you come across one. The next thing is know what you want to say if you're pitching a podcast or as a speaker for a summit. Have 3 different options and 3 key points for each of these. This allows the host to understand what your message is and what the key takeaways will be for their audience. To be prepared, I also want you to think about what is the freebie, the lead magnet, the free resource that you have, and the funnel that comes off that as well. Is that freebie relevant to your host audience? And how can you step them through what you offer through your welcome sequence? You can go back to episode 28, The Truth About Email Automations, if you need some more help with that. And the last thing to be prepared is just have a few low-cost courses or masterclasses ready to go that you can use as a bundle contribution or an extra free resource if a collaborator is asking for one. Okay, so that's the first step, to be prepared. And once you have all of those things, you can then start thinking about doing your research. Create a spreadsheet, a Notion table, a Asana project, however you like to collate your ideas and notes. I personally love a spreadsheet, but create a spreadsheet and research your target collaborators' audience and some recent projects that they've done. Keep notes on interactions with them. Find someone who you know is a good guest and listen to how they adapt their message across different podcasts. And if you would like an example of that, you can go and listen to my Spotify guest playlist. I'll make sure that I pop the link to that in the show notes. Join some Facebook groups that facilitate these specific connections. There are Facebook groups specifically for becoming a contributor to a bundle. There are specific Facebook groups for speakers, for podcast guests. So make sure that you're using those as part of your research as well. I'll put some of my favorite groups in the show notes for you to join if you would like. Lastly, in this research phase, please make sure that you actually listen to an episode, watch a video, understand if your potential collaborator's audience is similar to yours. The next step in making sure that your collaboration is a success is making the connection. Now, like I've already said, content marketing is based on human connection, not just transactions and numbers. So let's make this human. Follow them on socials and comment on their posts as well. You'll definitely stand out if you do that. Leave a review on a podcast, not just a rating on Spotify, but go into Apple and actually write a review. This really shows that you care and have actually put the effort into getting to know them, their message, and their content as well. Now that you're prepared, you've done the research, and you've made the connection, it's time to make the pitch. So just like converting a warm lead is easier than converting a cold lead in your business, the same goes for people you wish to pitch to. Just think about what you usually do with those spammy emails that you get that sell the SEO expertise. You know, the ones that I'm talking about. They have promises of increasing your rankings and blah, blah, blah. If you're like me, it's delete and block. You don't want to end up like this when you're trying to pitch to someone. From my own personal experience, it's a surefire no to anyone who pitches me to be on the podcast and I have no idea who they are. How will I know if they're going to be a good fit for my audience? Even if their proposed topic sounds like something I'd want to share, I know nothing about their philosophy or message. And quite frankly, I don't have the time to go and research them, listen to their podcasts, follow them on socials, or get references from other people. I just don't have time for that. So please make sure that you've connected with or interacted with your potential collaborator, whether that's a follow and comments on a social media in the connect phase, or sharing their content, or subscribing to their email list, or subscribing to their podcast if they have one and leaving a review. Really start interacting and connecting with them. Of course, disclaimer here, definitely in an authentic way, with relevant comments and relevant insights. Get on their radar and show them that your ideas or your values align with theirs. So when you're thinking about creating that actual pitch and sending it to your potential collaborator, think about referencing a recent episode and making it personal. Is there something that they've mentioned in a previous podcast or on their socials that they love to do? Perhaps they may have a pet that they really love that you can create a common ground with. Perhaps they love a hobby, and whilst it might not be something that you do, it might be something that you would like to try in the future. Always find that personal point of reference if you can. Check your topics as well. So many times people have come to me with an idea for a topic, which is great. I absolutely love that. But it's been on the podcast before. That kind of says to me that you haven't actually done your research that well, and you haven't checked that that topic has already been covered before. Really tailor your pitch to show how you align with their brand and can add value. And this is where your free resource, your lead magnet, your freebie, your opt-in really comes into play. If that not only adds value to the topic, but also adds value to a problem that their audience may have, then that is definitely a win-win. Okay, so now that you've pitched and they've said yes, what happens in this acceptance phase? Well, there's probably three main things that I want you to think about. And once again, it depends on the type of collaboration. But there needs to be clear communication, goal setting, and contracts and agreements in place. So with that clear communication, it's about setting expectations, understanding your roles and responsibilities up front for the project. If this is a bundle, a summit, or a podcast, it will likely already be set out in the host terms and conditions. Bundles and summits usually have a minimum promotion requirement as well, such as 3 social media posts and 2 emails. For my podcast, I ask guests to review the podcast first and commit to where they will promote the episode. Then once it's published, they're sent an email with all the ways that they can actually promote their episode. I want to make sure that my guest is as equally invested in making the episode a success as I am, because believe you me, a lot of work goes into it. The second thing is goal setting. Once again, this will only apply to small group collaborations, such as workshops, joint launches, or cross promotions. Defining what all the parties want to achieve from the collaboration, but even setting your own goals as to what you're looking for from the collaboration will really help you evaluate if this type of collaboration you've chosen works well for you or not. And then the third thing is the contracts and the agreements. This is really about formalizing the partnership to avoid misunderstandings. And this is really important when you're thinking about those joint launches or doing things together with people. This is something that I actually do up front with my podcast episodes. And it's something that's exceptionally thorough with the summits and bundles that I've participated in. But it would be a really important part of small collaborations, especially if there is revenue involved in the collaboration. And then the last step is what you do after the collaboration. And this is around measuring the success, updating your collateral, which is so important, which includes asking for a testimonial. So measuring success, this really goes hand in hand with your goal setting. So you need to evaluate the impact of the collaboration on your business growth. And this really helps you consider whether this type of collaboration is right for your objective and right for your business as well. So the example that I gave earlier about doing several bundles very quickly at the beginning of the year to increase my email list, I quickly discovered little nuances that will help me going into this last quarter where I'm doing a couple of extra bundles. Things like the graphic that I use to promote it, who's involved, the topic of the bundle, and who the host is and what opportunities that they have for internal collaborations amongst the contributors. All of those things helped me to determine whether that particular collaboration was the right thing for my business. The second thing that you can do after the collaboration is update your collateral. So add the collaboration to your speaker profile, to your website, to your speaker page if you have one. I have a guest speaker playlist on Spotify, so I'll add any guest spots to that as well. And if you do this as you go, then it becomes really super easy to maintain an up-to-date speaker profile. And the last thing is to ask for a testimonial. And this is my biggest tip when it comes to collaborations. Whether it's a bundle, a summit, or a guest spot on a podcast, I'll ask the person I collaborated with to provide me with a couple of sentences of feedback. I then put this into my speaker profile and I will use it on social media as well, as it helps build my credibility as a collaborator, which I think is kind of invaluable. Okay, so they're the 6 steps that I really recommend that you go through when you're looking for collaborations. And they were to be prepared, to do your research, make sure you connect with the host, create your pitch, go through the acceptance of the collaboration, and things you need to do after the collaboration is finished as well. Now, there are so many benefits to doing collaborations. And like I said, go back to episode 132 if you want a list of the benefits. But for me personally, the best things I really love about collaborations is the people that you meet and get to connect with, as well as the personal growth by simply putting yourself out there. It does absolute wonders for your confidence, and I really encourage you to give it a go. We weren't built to do business alone, so it's always more fun and uplifting to do things with other entrepreneurs as well. When you focus on shared success rather than what's in it for you, then the benefits of collaboration will truly be amplified. Now, if you'd like to see some collaboration in action, then you can check out the upcoming Planning Prep Kit bundle with Dr. Destiny Kopp that I am participating in, who also incidentally is coming on the podcast next week as a guest, the All Treats No Tricks bundle with Kate Doster, or if you live in Australia, I'll be sponsoring the Australian Women in Business Conference with Angela Henderson with a gift for all the attendees. Can you guess what it might be? The links to all of these collaborations are in the show notes. If you found this episode insightful, I'd love for you to share it with one person. Quickly hit that share button and send it over to them. I'm sure they'll love you for it. They may just want to collaborate with you. Talk soon. Thanks so much for listening. That's it for another week. To get more powerful content in your life, make sure you're following along on socials. My handle is @meldbusiness. And just in case you're wondering, the groovy music for this podcast was created by Just Here on SoundCloud. I'd also be super grateful if you took a moment to rate and review this podcast so more amazing women like you can experience the power of content. And if you're like, hell Mel, stop talking, I'm ready to work with you now, here's how we can work some powerful content magic together. Firstly, come and join the Content Effect, my membership inspiring women with service-based businesses to ditch the content chaos and start creating standout content that gets you noticed and makes sales. You can join us by using the link in the show notes or just Google the Content Effect. The second way we can work together is via my one-on-one packages. We can create a sustainable content strategy or start to build out your client journey. It's up to you. Pop on over to meldbusinessservices.com.au/services to find out more. Until next time, have a beautiful week and embrace the power of your content.